Hey, what's going on out there, YouTube family? It's the Sammy Leggy here representing TeamJVS. I am back here again for another review. Again, I am throwing out a lot of reviews at you guys. I apologize. They're raw, they're uncut, and as you can see here, my son here, they're unfiltered. So this is going to be my review for The Lost Daughter. This was directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal. This is starring Olivia Colman, Jessie Buckley, Dakota Johnson, Ed Harris, who else? Peter Sarsgaard. And this film, I was able to check it out in New York at the premiere for it. I actually talked to Maggie Gyllenhaal about it and really take time to process it. And what did I think about The Lost Daughter? Well, first off, the things I would really say I like. Olivia Colman is a beast. She's probably going to get nominated and might win for her character role of Lydia, which is really hard to do because there's also another person playing the role of Lydia on a younger age, and that's Jessie Buckley. Now, it's not saying that Jessie's not doing an amazing job, because she is. Like, there are moments that Jessie has to deal with the ramifications of being a mother, and like in real time, and making those real decisions, and for good or bad, like her inability or ability to cope with the surrounding situation of being a parent in this environment is contingent upon her ability to act. She's doing an amazing job. The funny thing is that Olivia Colman, you feel like she embodies and owns everything that's happening with the younger version of Jessie Buckley, but also has a lot of tales of mileage that, even though, yeah, she's got years later, she still is the very same person. She's very, what's the word? She's not a good person. She's very selfish. She's very destructive. She's very possessive. She wants to be the person of attention also. And she also is very malicious at times, for no reason. Like, there are things that the character Lydia does as a mother and even as an individual that you're kind of like, I can't believe she got away with that, and I can't believe she did it. Dakota Johnson plays the role of Nina. I think she does a really good job of having this woman who's also a parent, who's also dealing with the real-time situation that a young Lydia dealt with, and how to deal with the daughter that's also dealing with other things. The thing about this film is that there's a lot of surrounding things going on, because if I just take the character of Nina, right, her daughter, it seems like her daughter's not just dealing with just normal, like, attachment, this issue. Like, it's not just like, oh, she's a spoiled girl. Like, no, like, there's things going on with her dad that you don't know. There are things going on with her psychologically, possibly from not just abuse, but like things that are going on around her environment that are causing her to want to need these kids that are young Lydia. If you really pay attention to what's going on with them, like, the perception is that, oh, well, Lydia's just being selfish and she's doing this, but there are also things that they need, and there's things that are not being given to them, and it's a triple down effect. That I think that the way that the directing for this was, and the way that this was sculpted, I think that Maggie Gyllenhaal did an amazing job directing this. And the funny thing is, like, Maggie even brought up the fact that the writer of this book, Elena Ferrante, said that she only wanted Maggie Gyllenhaal to be the one to direct, like, her work of art. And so she gave Maggie creative, rights to, switch it the way she wanted to. But Maggie kept to the chest of what she wanted this to be. Ed Harris, his character, Lyle, like, he's not a good person either. But your first impression of him, he's like, oh, he's really skeezy. Like, he's just trying to, like, hit on this woman. But no, there's other layers to him. And I think that that's the thing about the film, that every person that you see, there's an other layer to them. Even Maggie Gyllenhaal's husband, Peter Sarsgaard, who's in this one, who plays the role of the Professor Hardy. Like, Professor, like, on the surface level, you're like, why is he doing this? And then the other side is like, well, no, like, he really asked real questions. He really seemed like he was trying to do a right thing in a wrong situation. And he made a real conscious decision as well. My son is teething really bad, so I apologize for that. I think the backdrop, the way they did the cinematography and the atmosphere, like you felt like you were there and this was kind of happening in real time, which I thought that was actually really interesting. The other thing about this is that the way that the characters move, you're not going to like them as characters. I think that from an audience standpoint, there's people gonna be like, well, no, this is real world, like, yeah. And it's kind of like there are also real world people that you're kind of like, well, I don't know, probably wouldn't be around this person, because there's a character that that Olivia Colman interacts with named Will. It's a normal dude, a normal guy out on the beach trying to work for the beach. And, they interact, and he's also got some other underlying things going on. But, like, the way that he's being used and the way that other people around him are being used, it's just fascinating. There are also things that happen to Olivia Colman's character. Like, there's one point where she gets, like, hit by something. And I was like, was that intentional? Was that set up? There's a moment where, like, somebody corners her to do something. And I was like, it seems like this could go very rough and very hard, very fast. Like, there's moments that this looks like in a frame like this could easily be a thriller. Matter of fact, the cookie cutter answer of this is that you're like, oh, well, I know whose daughter is who. I know who's doing this. Like, no, it's not that. Like, it's really straight through the eyes. And I think that the perception of what Elena wrote in her book may not be something that everybody can get behind, but I think that the directing and the execution of the way that Maggie Gyllenhaal was able to bring and surface these characters to life from the pages, I think was finally well done. I just think that the way that the framing of the characters are, I can appreciate the directing and the acting without getting behind the story. I think that's the reality of it. The story wasn't something that I felt like worked. It wasn't something that I felt like I necessarily took value in, because as a parent, there's certain principles that are responsibility that you have to do. And there's other people that choose to make decisions as well, the negative opposite way. But it's kind of like the question bows to what is this trying to say? Like, and I don't blame Maggie for this. It's more so the book. What is the audience that this is trying to target? Like, what is it trying to say? Is this encouraging people to do this, or is this showcasing people that not just are men but also women that go down this route as well, and what that really looks like? Because that isn't something that is all the way are normally shown. And I think that's where this is difficult to review, because I don't get behind the actual story, but I do understand the process. I do understand the reasoning for why this has progressed in the way that it is from a narrative standpoint. So I rest this at a 7 out of 10. I definitely think it's worth watching at least once so you can get your own perspective on it. You may take huge value out of it. I think the directing is perfect. I think that even the score, the slight uses of score are really good. And Olivia Colman is going to definitely get nominated. And I think that she's merited in that. This is going to be releasing out December the 31st, 2021 in theaters, I believe. I don't know if it's going to be theaters and VOD, but we'll talk to you guys later. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell button, and if you hit the post notifications, you're going to be tapped into the other reviews that are coming. You don't want to miss any of them. Peace, guys.